Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree Farmhouse Easter basket makeover for spring or wherever. We're going to use this Easter basket. It is really loud, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to use some wire edged burlap ribbon. There's natural, there's pink, there's blue, whatever color you want to use. We're also going to use some nautical rope for a handle as well as the base. And then of course our gluing device as well as our cutting device. So I wasn't recording. Sorry. Let me tell you what I did. I removed the glitter from here. As you know, we've done it a million times. The words broke up into a million pieces, but if you want to reuse them for something, be careful the way you take them off. You can always cut behind them like we did for Valentine's Day. Once I had it all, sorry, I feel really bad. Once I had it all removed, I cut the middle egg, just my scissor, cut across there, and then I cut the two side eggs. I cut the piece off on the inside, and then the few notches on the outside here, just because when I go to wrap it, it'll look a little bit more like an even handle. I might actually even end up cutting off this piece, this little notch here, but I don't know yet. I'm going to start to wrap it, and then I'll see exactly what I want to do from there. I was thinking if it was going to give me a hard time that I can always flip that over and glue it. Do you see how nicely that fits almost like perfectly there? But I don't know that I necessarily have to do that. The rope is kind of thick, so we're going to see what happens when we start looping it. And that's what you missed. Oh boy. Okay, so what I decided to do after talking to you was to rebuild the handle a little bit better. Now it's not going to be for strength or anything. It's just going to help make the rope look even. I actually took the time to actually try to wrap the handle the way I thought it might work, and it really didn't come out that well because the nautical rope is kind of thick. So if you did decide to do this with like jute, you could just do so many layers of jute. You can add the thickness where it needs, and you can fill in where you ever have like holidays or blank spots. But since we're using the nautical rope, I wanted to have a nice even base. So what I did was I cut the two pieces off of those side eggs. Like I said, we cut off the whole middle egg. I cut off the two pieces off those side eggs, and I turned them around. And I'm gluing them back in. And they kind of are giving the continuation curve of the handle. What I did was I just put a bunch of hot glue. Be careful because it's hot. I held the top piece in place. And then it kind of tucks behind that center post on that egg. The little knob does. So I just used it and I glued that underneath on the bottom. And then I repeated the same opposite actually for the other side. And as you can see, this is 4 times how long I was holding it. So if it looks like I'm holding it here for 4 or 5 seconds, I did hold it for, that means I hold it for a good 20 seconds, okay? You really just want to let the glue set up the best that you can before you move on, because you really want it to have a nice solid hold on there before you wrap the jute around, the nautical rope around it, all right? Now, I've also cut off all of the knobs on the handle, as you can see. As I was originally wrapping the jute, I tried it the first time. The nautical rope, it just left too many bumps. They were just a little too big. So now what I'm doing is I'm just taking a piece of that nautical rope and I'm putting it on the outside of the handle, between the two eggs pretty much. And I'm doing that just to thicken up so the handle has a nice, more even consistency of its width. All right, so pretty much we're just building a better handle. All right, and then again, letting it dry because this plastic doesn't really want to, it doesn't really, it starts to melt and then just the glue, and let it be patient with this project. That's all I'm saying. Okay. All right, so now we're going to wrap. What I did was I flipped it over to the back. I glued down the first end, and now I am just wrapping very carefully because I don't want to squeeze the rope and break that piece off that we just glued. We just want to push it down against it from the top. I'm trying to keep it as wide, the width even, the whole way up, okay? And if you've ever wrapped, like if you made the Hampton wreath that we made, or if you've ever wrapped a wreath with nautical rope, you know that it isn't going to make a perfect it won't give you perfect coverage, because if for it to be fitted on the inside ring, it will have spaces on the outside ring. But we're going to go ahead and fix that when we're done. And then also, if you don't want to take the time to fix it when you're done, you could always add a bow to the top, which would be really cute as well. Actually, I was going to make a bow for the handle, just to show you different examples of how to finish this wreath. But you guys, I trust you. I trust your design elements. I trust the things that you like. If you think you want a big old floppy bow on your Easter basket, go for it. If you think you want bugs or frogs or butterflies, I absolutely encourage you to be as creative as you can. Okay? Let the creative juices flow. So this first rope that I started with was not a whole piece. You will probably need two, depending on how tightly you wrap, but you don't want to wrap too tightly, because then you'll pull off that little piece of plastic. So I've just continued to go the whole way, trying to keep it as evenly wrapped as possible. Again, not too tight, not too loose. And then when I got to the end, I went ahead and I glued the end down on the back and then cut it off. You don't have to do it in that order. You can cut it off first and then glue it. That's entirely up to you. Okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to make the space in the middle the extra space. I decided to do this because it's just it's visually centered, so it won't look like this weird. It'll keep its pattern. I guess that's the way I want to say it. So what I did was I made the space in the center. I wrapped the ropes evenly on the left and the right, and then it left like this little V in the center. So what I did was I clipped a piece of the nautical rope at a little bit of an angle, and I tucked it in the corner there with a little hot glue. Once the hot glue is set up, again, this is 4 times speed, so if you see me leaving it for 5 seconds, that means I really left it for 20 seconds. And then once it was cooled off from the front, I turned it over, cut off the back, glued in the back, again, tucked in that little V. You don't have to worry so much about what the back looks like, but you just want the front to be pretty. And I just repeated it again with a smaller piece, with a smaller V. So it actually looks like it is wrapped properly, but you don't have the bump of overlapping or second layers, okay? And again, if you don't want to do this step and you just want to add a bow to the top, 100% go right ahead. All right, so for the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use some nautical rope on to create a base. Basically, I wanted my basket to have a base. Since my basket was going to be a ribbon basket, I wanted it to have like a consistent handle and base. And I kind of thought of all of the bases of baskets that are sometimes woven rope or braided rope. I just thought that would look really cute. A braid would have looked really cute had I braided this 3 pieces or even made a wider braid. But I just went with a very, very simple wrap. I tried to wrap it as evenly as possible. I should have probably cut those knobs off, but I originally thought I could use them to hold the rope from sliding off. If you need to glue your rope in layers, you can. As you can see, I didn't need to do that, but you know, some people have more difficulty working the rope. Some people have a little more difficulty with their dexterity and their grip. So if you feel like you need to go ahead and glue your layers of rope down, you go right ahead, okay? Now we're just going to start weaving the ribbon on. Oddly enough, you want to start in the front because you want to catch that first peg on one side. And I'm not planning, I'm not doing it nicely. I actually like the haphazard ribbon. It kind of makes me feel more like a rattan, where it's like a homemade woven, almost Caribbean type of basket. But you want to go ahead and weave this in, you can. You want to go ahead and lay these ribbons down perfectly. You could wrap it like we've seen many of the baskets with the garden fence that are wrapped. That would look really pretty as well. But I just wanted it to have this look, this very, very natural feel. And then I just zhuzhed wherever I felt like it needed to zhuzh. And now we're going to go ahead and add a little tiny loop hanger. This is not necessary if you have a big enough hook on your door. I do not. I have a really, really tiny flat hook on my door. So I always have to add a little tiny jute hanger. And I just glued it right to the center in the back. And here is what it looks like completely plain. I wanted to show you guys what it looks like 100% plain, and then we're going to doll it up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is Frankenstein flowers. And I actually forgot to mention that we need flowers, but that's the option. The option, of course, is always the embellishments. What I'm going to do by Frankenstein flowers is I'm taking one wire branch stem bundle, and I'm adding different flowers to it. So this particular stem has 6 wires. Most of them from the Dollar Tree do. The big flowers don't, but most of them do. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a Frankenstein flower bush. I did this because I didn't want to cut flowers down, and I'm going to just tuck the whole bouquet in the basket on the door so that you can change it out all the ways that you want, okay? So what I've done is I've taken 2 hydrangeas, I've taken 2 white roses, and I've slipped some of the Dollar Tree Baby's Breath down on the stem before I put the white roses on. And then I have one dark pink rose there as well. I just can't talk. And one of them is sort of that like aster looking kind of flower is there as well, just to give a little bit of an added difference. And then while I had the stems in front of me on the table, I went ahead and I adjusted their leaves. I adjusted the flowers how I wanted them to lay down. And then once I had them where I wanted them, I went ahead and I curled the stem up. And we're just going to tuck that in the basket. Just easy breezy, lemon squeezy, however you want to say it. Okay? Now with the Baby's Breath, I slid them up on the roses so they kind of stuck up a little bit more than the roses, which I thought was just a nice added touch. And these are the leaves that were actually on the stem to begin with. Okay? And then I have the bottom folded down, up I should say. And then we're just going to tuck it right in behind the ribbon. Actually, the way the ribbon comes out, there's room between the ribbon and the plastic has all these great squares. So we're just going to tuck it in behind the ribbon into one of those great plastic squares. And we're just going to fluff it out the way we want to, because they're wired flowers, so you can make them go in any direction you want. And that's it. I hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. I enjoyed doing it for you. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share this video with friends and family, anybody you know might be interested in learning any of these techniques, Frankenstein flowers, ribbon baskets, whatever. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe, and when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye!